Wanted to make a video today on pitching approach in MLB the Show 20. This can also be used in MLB the Show 21. And it is the anatomy of a no-no. Saco Bay Sharks Baseball Club YouTube channel. Please subscribe and like this video if you'd like to see more. I am a player who loves playing the game, loves getting better, have learned a lot from some of the content creators and great players, and like to share that info. I'm able to compete. I have not made it to World Series ever, but I am able to compete, and I have beaten some really good players and expect to do well in MLB 21. But here's Trevor Bauer, and Kenny Lofton's leading off the game, and I'm going to go into a bunt defense just to make sure he doesn't bunt on me. But I choose to play a day game with Bauer because one of his attributes is that he pitches better during the daytime, which means that my opponent's PCI will be slightly lower or slightly smaller than it would normally be. And it gives a little bit of an advantage. But early here, I'm trying to use various pitches to see how much my opponent will chase. Some guys you can find right off the bat will chase right away. And I'm lucky to get that pitch was a little bit too fat. I'm lucky to get that first out. But some guys you'll find early on, they'll start chasing right away. And you can throw a lot of pitches out of the zone to get them to chase and be pretty productive. With Bauer, he's got a four-seam fastball. He's got a knuckle curve. You'll see him right there. He's got a cutter. And I try to use all of them with him. But the cutter is very effective. And the key really is to try to get ahead on guys. And here, this is Trey Turner, a lot of speed. I'm noticing that my opponent is hitting 115 with Trey Turner, so he's not hitting too well with him. There's a pitch out of the zone that he gets a piece of. But again, 3-2 count. Don't want to walk him. And he chases the knuckle curve. 76-mile-an-hour knuckle curve. The thing about the knuckle curve, the cutter, the fastball, I can throw them in the same tunnel, the same area. So I may throw, this pitch is going to be up and in here. That's a fastball. And now I may go there again. He can't do anything with that pitch. It's a fastball on the black inside. He can't do anything with that pitch. And now I'm going knuckle curve in the same tunnel. So to him, it looks like it's going in the same area, but it breaks quite a bit. And we strike him out, although bad throw by the catcher, Grandal, and he gets safely on first base. The sinker I will use occasionally too. The pitches are listed there when you see me choosing the pitches. The pitches are listed there in order of their effectiveness with that pitcher. But again, I'm getting it ahead on hitters. And with 2 strikes, I'm going to make sure I'm nowhere near the zone. Now we're in the second inning, and I've determined that my opponent will swing at pitches out of the zone. That's a fastball, first pitch fastball. It's a little bit too good, but now that I'm ahead on the count, I'll really nibble at the corners. Bauer has excellent control. I like to use the meter pitching, just something I'm used to.
High fastball right there with a 2-strike count. You know what?
Then 1-2. This is going to be out of the zone, and he chases. This is kind of how the game goes. I don't want to get in a pattern and be too predictable. I'm not a great hitter with my team,
Fouled away.
and I'm really looking to win this game. So I'm looking to make sure that I don't get too predictable with Bauer and throw a ball down the middle that's hit out of the park all of a sudden. So I'm very careful with each pitch.
Boy, and they cannot touch him right now.
And again, you see Larry Walker chasing a little bit. The cutter works really well with left-handed hitters. We'll talk about that again the next time a left-handed hitter comes up. But there goes the knuckle curve, 76 miles an hour. And now I'm going in the same tunnel, but we're going cutter. And just off the plate, so 1-1. Same tunnel again, fastball. What I'm trying to observe with my opponent and each of these hitters is how quickly their bat is. If a guy has a very quick bat, I'm going to be apt to throw him more breaking balls. This is the third inning. I have since gone up 2-0, so I'm in pretty good shape here, but I want to have a shutdown inning. Throw a knuckle curve there. Now I'm going to go with the cutter up and in at 86 miles an hour. And now coming back with the fastball, which looks the same to my opponent because it's up in the zone in the same tunnel. It was a decent pitch out of the zone, one of the few he hasn't chased. 3-2. I do not want to walk the leadoff hitter here. Travis d'Arnaud is a good fastball hitter, so I have to be careful. There's the knuckle curve, which he fouls off. I got too much of the plate there. He's a little bit late on the fastball, so I'm going to be careful not to speed him up. And that's a cutter that sped him up a little bit at 86. But he's really battling here. This is a tough at bat, but that's a good location on a fastball. Couldn't do much with it. Caught him by surprise. And here's his pitcher. I'm going to move the infield in a bunt, prevent, so to speak, just to make sure the pitcher of all people doesn't beat me with something like a bunt. And again, here, my mentality here is I'm just trying to get outs. I'm just trying to compete. I'm just trying to make sure I can hold the lead and continue to maybe tack on. Because at this point, I'm just hoping for a really good pitching performance. I'm hoping to not have much strain at all on my bullpen. I've moved my guys in again in anticipation of a bunt with Lofton. And really, I'm not considering at all that he hasn't gotten any hits yet. I'm not thinking about that one single bit. I'm just concentrating on each individual hitter, taking a good look at what their bat speed looks like. So he's going to pinch hit here. Verdugo, left-hander. Left-hander, I like to throw cutters, waist high, that bore in on the guy. Right about waist belt high.
Good deception on the slider there as he's way out in front.
That's a slider.
This guy is still looking at a 0 in the hit column. That's over, but low. It's a ball and a strike.
It's a low cutter. Left-handers again like to go in on him.
Even though it's early on, you got a guy on deck that has a lot of power.
And so my concern here is that he stopped chasing a little bit, especially with this hitter, Alex Verdugo. 3-1, don't want to walk him, but there are 2 outs, so it wouldn't be the end of the world if I walked him here. I don't want to throw something fat down the middle. And there we go. That ends up in a walk.
Ball 4, so he comes right off the bench and works the walk. Usually easier said than done. Trey Turner will stand in for a second.
That's a cutter. I probably will go fastball here because he's going to have a hard time catching up with that in the same tunnel right after the cutter.
On 0-2, here it comes.
And there's a
Fouled
fastball
away.
up in the zone.
A runner on first
And in the
with 2
words of a content creator that I follow quite a bit, Seabrev,
and he's got
you
himself
throw a
another
pitch
one.
up in the zone, just out of the zone, or that knuckle curve just out of the zone, they're obligated to protect. They're obligated to swing. That's a pretty well hit ball, too much of the plate. So I get a little bit lucky here. Still 2-0 in the fourth.
Deep left center field for the first out.
The first baseman.
So the bases are empty with one man gone.
I'm going to go
And up
off
steps
speed
the
with
power
Alonso.
bat of Pete Alonso. Laid off the bender there,
Got away
but
with
it's in
that
for
pitch because it was a
strike.
hanging knuckleball.
Alonso is undoubtedly one of the
Gonna
best
go
hitters
again.
in baseball, especially against right-handed pitching.
Try to throw a better
Testing
one.
it
That
for
was a
both
sinker,
power
actually.
and average, so he's certainly a big threat in matchups like these.
Yeah, you could tell he is just super confident.
Typically, most hitters are going to have trouble with up and in fastballs, especially average hitters. Some of the great guys, some of the fantastic players will get their PCI on that, maybe hit it out of the ballpark. But your average player, if you want to be able to compete, fastballs up and in will give many hitters trouble, no matter who they are.
This one's chopped to third. And Machado with the bare hand.
Machado is an outstanding third baseman.
They'll look to get something going here and even
Made a great play there. Walker is dangerous. Fifth inning.
They want to get things going. How about trying to get some base runners on, or at least get
Just trying to mix it up a little bit and not be predictable here.
And it's fouled away.
Fastball got a little bit too much of the plate. And there's your cutter in. That's my favorite pitch with Bauer. And any righty who's got a decent cutter to a lefty, it gives you a real good option to throw against lefties. Walker, I've had him on my team, so I know he can be dangerous. And there's a slider. So sliders and cutters to lefties sometimes can eat them up. A slider low and in like that is a blind spot. And it can be tough. Bryant scares me, so I'm staying off speed.
This team is just struggling so mightily to get on base. They've looked off balance all game.
A ball and a strike now.
And here I'm going to go fastball up and in. Just missed in. But again, at this point now, I'm trying to hold on to the lead
2-2.
and not
One out, nobody on.
get traffic on the bases
And he's just
and or give up a home run.
Strikeouts for him in the ball game.
Now batting.
Now at the plate, Travis d'Arnaud.
Darno's a dangerous power hitter, so I'll be careful even with 2 outs.
To start the inning. And that's waved at and missed for strike one.
Bauer has really good control, and on the pitching meter you can see
And he
the
misses
yellow,
with it, 1-1.
thick part of the meter.
Now the
When
pitch.
he's throwing a lot of strikes in a row,
And
you'll
he
get the
fouls this
thicker
one off.
yellow
2
on the
out,
meter,
nobody on.
making it easier to hit your spots.
Nasty breaking
And there's
ball
another
swung
really
on
great
in the dirt.
pitch.
Randall gathers. And the
Knuckle
throw
curve
first
in the same
ends the
tunnel.
inning.
Again, tunneling is really, throwing a pitch that starts out in the same spot or looks to the hitter like it's going to be in the same spot, same
Starts him out with
area.
a cutter, and he gets him to swing through
And
with
then
one strike.
That's a cutter up and in there. Now I'm going to go with fastball up and in the same tunnel,
Fastball misses inside. It's even at 1.
which would set him up
Hey, this
for
is
a
real
knuckle
pesky
curve.
hitter right here. As a
here.
pitcher, you really like to keep this guy off the bases. This is
Hit
a guy
my
that kinda
spot.
sets the tables
Fantastic
for
pitch.
big innings.
1 ball and
Fantastic
2
pitch.
strikes to count.
So I'll go in the same tunnel again, going back to that same tunnel.
Struck him out and make it
And
14
he's
punch-outs
very
now in the
confused.
game.
Very
At the
confused.
plate, Alex Verdugo. He drew a walk his first time up. Infield in the overshift here. Now the pitch. And
Quite
this one's
often
just
what
about
I'll
sawing
do
off as
is
he
if I
can't
throw a
extend
good
it at
pitch
all.
and I'm
Strike
going
one.
back to that pitch again,
He's looking sharp
I'll
so far.
pause a little
80%
bit
of his first pitches are for
and
strikes.
take my
He might
time,
be able to go the distance
because
if he keeps this up.
going back to the same pitch right away is a little bit predictable.
Count remains at
By
0-2.
pausing, I put a little bit of doubt in the mind of the hitter. And he may be thinking I'm choosing a different pitch because I'm taking a little bit longer. Especially when you're behind in the count. As a pitcher, if you go 1-0, 2-0, and you know you probably want to throw a fastball down the middle to get back in the count, a lot of times I'll pause there to put a little doubt in the hitter's mind, thinking maybe I'm choosing a different pitch. So here again, I've scored in the fifth, bottom of the fifth, 3-0 lead, looking pretty good. But I, as a player, have seen these leads disintegrate pretty quickly when you get a couple guys on and give up a home run, make a mistake. So I'm really dialing in. Have to be focused. Can't play this game with distractions. I know I certainly can't play this game with distractions. A lot of people play the game, they talk to their friends, they're texting with friends, they're in chat parties or whatever. I can't do that. I have to be completely focused. So 1-2 count. I'm going to throw this knuckleball out of the zone here. And there he goes. It's a great, great pitch for Bauer. And as his pitch count gets up, some of his pitches break a little less, become a little bit less effective, and you have to be aware of that. You won't always hit your spots as well. You gotta be very aware of the energy meter. If I take a mound visit, confidence level will go up a little bit. We'll see in the right hand, upper right there, energy and confidence are still pretty good with him. We're in the 7th. Only a 3-0 lead. Hornsby a dangerous hitter. So I'm trying to just maintain the lead. Still at this point, not really thinking about a no-hitter at all. I am just trying to hold the lead. Great knuckle curve. Great knuckle curve. I might have been calling it a knuckleball earlier in this video, but it's not. It's a knuckle curve. That's a real good breaker. That hung a little bit. Again, with Alonso here, I got to be careful. He's got power. He's late on that fastball, so I could go back to the fastball again. But I'm going to go knuckle curve out of the zone. And again, he chases the knuckle curve out of the zone. My opponent has been chasing pitches out of the zone the entire game. Sometimes you'll find that a guy will chase a particular pitch out of the zone because he just doesn't pick it up. He just doesn't see it as well. And that's the case in this game. The knuckle curve in this game, this guy could not pick it up. He could not pick it up. He was on the cutter a little bit. He was late on the fastball. Didn't throw a lot of sliders, but he was on the sliders. You see there, he's just late on the fastball. So if I'm going to throw an off-speed pitch next, like I did, right there, the knuckle curve, I got to make sure that pitch is out of the zone, because if he's a little late on the fastball, throwing something else is going to speed him up. So you got to be real careful not to hang the knuckle curve. And I only have 5 hits, so I'm not hitting the ball very well. I'm just trying to hang on here. 5-0 now. I feel pretty good about it. The announcers in this game already mentioned, and it just flashed up on the screen, that I have a no-hitter going. So I'm aware of it now. I'm aware of it now in this game. And just trying to focus in, laser focus on each individual pitch. And now I'm 4 outs away, and I'm starting to feel it. Starting to feel like, wow. And a couple things are at play here. It's 5-0. My opponent, give him credit, he could easily quit at this point. He's being dominated by Bauer. He could easily quit at this point. So, props to him for hanging in there.
he's throwing a lot of pitches in this one, but it's not like he's
Chris Bryant's another guy who could spoil this very easily. And chases out of the zone again. So I'm just trying to get this third out here. Feel pretty good about this. Get this third out. Get to the ninth. And hopefully then really have a chance for the no-hitter, because I am aware of it now. So now I'm not throwing pitches. I'm making sure I'm not throwing pitches down the middle. That's scary. That was the scariest one of the game right there. Scariest one of the game right there. Got away with it. And now we enter the ninth.
He'll just need to try and get on base here.
And I've made a couple of replacements here defensively. And Salvatore Perez is super dangerous. Many say he's a glitch in this game that is able to hit pitches in all areas and sometimes pitches that are out of the zone. So I'm going all defense here. I take Brock out of left. I put Byron Buxton in, who's a stud defensively, diamond defense. No chances here. Have never thrown a no-no in MLB the Show, so pretty excited for the opportunity. Got away with that pitch right there with Perez. Here's a tunneling pitch. Looks like it's going to be in the same area to him. It's a knuckle curve. 0-2. Definitely not throwing anything near the zone here.
Strikeout, as nobody can touch him in this one. And the next up will be Alex.
Going to be careful, but
struck out swinging in his last trip to the plate.
With Verdugo, decent speed, so brought the corners in case of a bunt. Because if I'm my opponent now, I'm trying anything to break up the no-hitter. There's a fastball in. Now I'm going to go cutter in. And just absolutely can't miss that pitch, and that's a good pitch. That's a good spot. Just in a situation here where I cannot leave one out over the plate. So I'm one out away. Pretty exciting. Again, before I sign off here, Saco Bay Sharks Baseball Club YouTube channel. Subscribe, like. We'll make more of these. Pretty soon I'm going to come out with a video of players that I would recommend trying to get in MLB The Show 21.
And it's fouled away.
Got a one-on-one count on Jackie Bradley Jr. A little worried about the bunt here. At this point, I am not worried about the win. I'm going to get the win, it looks like. His energy levels in the yellow, so a little concerned there.
3 balls and a strike now.
3-1 count.
If you're at the plate right now, you
definitely don't want to walk him because the pitch counts at 116. Good pitch, and this is going to be a knuckle curve out of the zone. Don't want to leave anything to chance, and there it is. A no-hitter. Love it. Saco Bay Sharks Baseball Club YouTube channel. Pitching approach, the anatomy of a no-no. There it is, right there. Doesn't take a lot of ability in this game. Takes some smarts. I've learned a lot from some other content creators who are really good players who have talked about pitching and how to use certain pitchers. And that's what we did here. Bauer was pretty much lights out the whole game. It helped that the opponent chased pitches out of the zone. But thank you for watching, and we'll see you again soon.
But all in all, this was his show, and he winds up in the history books with a no-hitter.